Grab your mic on the way in.
Oh, God. But there's like a wire.
It's okay. It's really long.
I just don't trust myself not to trip over it.
I trust you.
It's
Here we
fine.
go. It is a delight to be back in your city, in your state, back here at the Marquee Theater, where there's those drilled-in signs that say, no crowd surfing, no stage diving, and for all of you, no mosh pits. I'm watching you. But I'm so stoked to be here at the big theater where 303 made their big debut, or whatever. I listened to them religiously in high school. I was all about it. But now I'm here for stuff that I didn't read in high school or any other time until now. We're gonna be covering a portion of the House of Hades, and I'm very excited. I've had a fun time in Denver so far. It's been great. Been exploring the city a little bit with my friends Ben and Taylor, and now we're gonna have, hey! And we're gonna have some fun. And for folks who were here last year, who came when I was in Denver last year? Or last time, a couple years ago, okay. For who is this, the first time coming to a show? Okay. And then who's like a friend or significant other or family member that got dragged here and has no idea what's going on? All right. We're gonna make sure that everyone has a good time here. We are on book 9 of a series. So you might have a little bit of confusion for some names, but we'll try to make sure that's okay. Me and my guests will be going over part of the chapters 33 and 34 of House of Hades. I mentioned we have a very special guest. I'm never on this journey alone. I'm so stoked to be joined here on stage by Denver's own Morgan Danielle! Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Yeah.
As you can tell from my pristine Camp Half-Blood shirt.
Yes, you definitely didn't fall into Tartarus. It's not burned and
Yeah.
chewed up. How did you, so for the podcast listeners at home, of course, cosplayer Morgan Danielle has done the not full, but cosplay appropriate for the stage where it's like, I tried hard, but not too hard. You've got like a tattered up Tartarus Annabeth shirt. How did you do the tattering? Did you burn it? What went into it?
I faked burns, so a lot of it is just me cutting it up in a way where I actually thought about what would cause something. So even if it's not canon, I was like, what if there's slash marks? What if the thing got ripped here?
Sure.
Almost all the coloring is acrylic paint that I watered down for the lightest of colors, and then slowly did thicker and darker colors, and then splattered to have soot, and then just thought about having the black around areas that grit and soot and stuff would get stuck in.
It looks very convincing. I like it.
Thank you.
And then for the other podcast listeners that want to know what I'm wearing a Dikembe Mutombo Denver Nuggets jersey. The classic rainbow one, because I was going through my closet, because if anyone's at the show last time, I dressed up as the Denver state flag. I had the darker red pants and a yellow shirt and a blue cardigan, and I was like, what am I gonna do this time? The Denver state flag, the Colorado state flag, which looks like the Denver city flag. They're the same colors. I was like, what am I gonna do this time? I was going through all my sweaters and stuff, and then at the very bottom of one of my sports drawers, I saw the Mutombo jersey, and I was like, oh, not no, but yes. So I'm happy to bust it out. But let's get into these chapters that we're discussing. We're going to be covering chapters 33 and 34 of the House of Hades, which are Jason chapters. We'll be retitling them at the end of each. Obviously, where we last left the story, Percy and Annabeth were doing stuff in the underworld, and Bob turned out to be all right. Where we last left these folks that we're going to be talking about, they had just defeated the pirate guy whose name is escaping me.
Oh.
Skyron, not Chiron, Skyron. So they defeated him with Hazel using her mist powers and Jason helping her with pulling off the trick by flying and catching off of the edge. And
Jason getting a cool new haircut.
Jason getting a cool haircut from a bullet. So yeah, that's where we resume. So the opening line for this chapter is, quote, Jason fell asleep on the job. And I wrote, does he have a concussion? Keep him awake. Because he's always getting concussions and you're not supposed to sleep after those.
He's really good at getting knocked out in more and more creative ways every
What
time.
do your skills include, Jason? Lightning powers, flying, head trauma. He's really good at it. Really good.
Nectar Ambrosia must be real good about healing traumatic brain injury.
And Jason's like a frequent user. If there is like algorithmic marketing, like he's getting targeted ads for, did you get hit in the head with a brick recently? Try buying some more nectar. So what we learn is that it's the morning after that big battle with Skyron. So it wasn't like in the middle of the thing, because where we last left him, he was like floating in the air ready to catch Hazel. And I was like, if you fell asleep that quickly, what's going on, man? You are like in the middle of some action. So it's the morning after. He is guarding the ship, the flying ship, and there are some venti wind spirits trying to attack it and mess with it. And what Jason did in this case of why he fell asleep is that he forgot to hold his breath when he slashed through the last one. Mm-hmm. And apparently that's a big no-no, because when a venti is destroyed, they suck all of the air out. They like turn into a vacuum and it'll suck all of the air out of your lungs. This feels new. I don't remember the venti ever having this power. It feels like Rick was like, how do I make these guys more intimidating?
Yeah, like I've read this series a few times now, not as much as the first one, but I like read that today when I was listening to the audiobook chapters today, and I was like, did it say this before?
Okay, good. I'm glad I wasn't alone in this. Famously, I've only read each book once, but it didn't feel familiar. Yeah. So Jason says that this will cause you to black out, and for Jason, this means now he's in dream time. So of course I don't feel good that our friend is plummeting to his potential death, but the dreams are really helpful. So, gotta take it where you can. So his dream is going on. I think this is funny, like this could just be the most convoluted way for Rick to get Jason to sleep so they can have a dream. It's like, well, he was flying and all the air flew out of his lungs, so he's asleep. So narrator Jason says, quote, in the back of his subconscious, he thought, really? Now? Which is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Jason's worried that if he doesn't wake up, he's going to die, but that isn't enough to snap him back to reality while he deals with the force of gravity. And in the dream, he's on the roof of a building in Manhattan with the wind whipping his clothes. And then he sees some clouds gathering around the Empire State Building, and there's lightning flashing, and he's got that smell in the air like rain is approaching. The lights are on the Empire State Building, but they're flickering from purple to orange, and that felt like very intentional color choices.
I don't know. Could just be random.
Could just be random. You could go, what I do, especially where I used to live in Midtown, you could see the Empire State Building from the view in our kitchen. And I would utilize the website of whatever it is. Like, I would just Google Empire State Building colors and they tell you what it is. And sometimes it's like things that are cool, like holidays or whatever. Sometimes it's like corporate sponsored stuff, which is less fun. But it would be fun if I looked it up and it was like, why is it flashing between purple and orange? And it's like intense scene between demigods of two camps. Like, oh, okay, wow. What a fun
I think
August.
they should add that to the website.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, whatever if they turn this into a show, but like, all of these buildings that do like these Percy Jackson event and things, like they need to hire me. Because I'm like, look, people are gonna lose their mind if on one of the nights you have it flicker between purple and orange, and then you say like, come on, people will be like, you'll get so much Leo pointing at screen.
Tie-in marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, they already go blue for Percy Jackson's birthday every year now, so like, I feel like it's not too much to ask.
It's not. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So flickering between these colors, on the roof, Jason can see some of the Camp Jupiter folks, the Roman demigods, all clad in armor. We see Dakota. We see Nathan. Do we know who Nathan is? I was like, who's this? Leela? Do we know who Leela is?
I think it's just people Jason recognizes that no one else has met because he was there for years.
Yeah, and then Marcus, which sounded familiar. I feel like that name was at least someone we may have met in The Son of Neptune.
I think
but
so.
We've got some Roman folks here. Octavian's also there. Boo! And his eyes are red, either, Jason thinks, from a lack of sleep or a surplus of anger. So in the center, and I say center kind of weird because I've been using the British very legal PDF, so it was the centre.
Centre.
In the centre is Raina with her gold and silver dogs, Aurum and Argentum. And Jason feels instantly guilty, and he recaps the whole, he kind of led Raina on, but didn't lead Raina on, because I think this is the first time in this book she's come up. So in case this is the first Percy Jackson book you've read, or you've been dragged along to the show, they have to let you know that the two of them were kind of like the camp leaders, and it's usually that they get together and date, but then Jason had things happen to him.
At the very least, they were pretty close.
They were close, but
they worked together very closely.
Yeah, I think he's being a little too hard on himself. Like, just because people in these positions of power often get together, it does not mean that you have to date. That feels weird. So they are staring at the roof access door like they are expecting someone. I can only think of the bad Percy Jackson movies where this door explodes and then reforms. Ugh. Oh my God. The door opens and out steps two people. One of them is a satyr, and explicitly Jason lets us know it's a satyr and not a faun. And I just wrote all caps in my notes, "Wait, Grover!" I was really excited about this. When I was reading this, it was in the airport before I flew here from Boise, and I was sitting next to Nathan Cox, who did the Boise show with me, and he always just like reads up to exactly where I am. So I was reading this next to him while he was waiting for his flight to board, and I just went like, and he was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Do you care if I spoil you?" And he was like, "Well, it's like the next page, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I'm probably going to read that really soon." I was like, "Grover's back." And he was like, "No way."
Yeah, honestly, if we were lucky enough to get a Heroes of Olympus TV show to follow up with what we have right now, I need them to add more Grover back.
Yeah, that would be fun, because it has been literally 3.5 books since we've seen Grover.
And having the big bad be Gaia/Gia.
Thank you for appreciating the bad pronunciation that we do here because of the audiobook.
And like, I just feel like there could be so much done with Grover, with him being the Lord of the Wild.
Yeah.
And the big bad being literal nature. I feel like there could be so much done there. I just need him to be added in the show.
It would be good.
Get there. I need it.
It's never too late to write books. Rick can get on it and write some like what Grover was up to books. We see that's become the trend in YAs where it's like, oh, what was Edward thinking?
What if Edward was Edith and Bella was Beau?
Yeah, I know who.
Look, the plot wouldn't change at all, except it changes a lot.
Classic Edith. Ugh. I've seen the first hour of the Twilight film because Johnny and I are working on a podcast project where we watch it for the first time and live record the audio from it. That movie's wild, guys. The choices made from every department. Lighting, costume, sound, props. Not casting, though. They knocked it out of the park.
I will say the first one is the only one I watch and rewatch because the other ones just feel like standard Hollywood blockbuster romance fantasy movies, action movies. Like, I don't think they're as interesting, but the first one just has this completely unhinged vibe that is perfectly catered to the girls that shopped at Hot Topic before it was cool.
So stay tuned for my eventual podcast about that with Johnny, and Kelly's definitely going to get in on some episodes because she loves those movies and books and everything. But anyway, Percy Jackson, they describe who, this is obviously Grover, but at first they don't let us know it's Grover. Quote, he wore a Green Nature Conservancy t-shirt with pictures of endangered whales and tigers and stuff. Nothing covered his shaggy legs and hooves. He had a bushy goatee, curly brown hair tucked into a Rasta-style cap. And I was like, we haven't gotten a new cap, Grover, please. A Rasta-style cap and a set of reed pipes around his neck. His hands fidgeted with the hem of his shirt, but considering the way he studied the Romans, noting their positions and their weapons, Jason figured this satyr had been in combat before, which is like, it's definitely Grover. Very excited. And then we learned that the other person is Rachel Elizabeth Dare, who we haven't seen in a while either, so the all-star crew is here. Very excited about it. And now I was like, give me the Grover and Rachel Elizabeth Dare spin-off book. What were they doing? Come on.
Iconic duo.
What a duo. Rachel has her quintessential blue hairbrush with her and her marker-drawn jeans. Jason wonders what is going on. Rachel Elizabeth Dare steps forward and addresses Raina by saying, you got my message. And Octavian says that it's the only reason that she, Rachel Elizabeth Dare, is alive. She hopes that they are here to surrender. Octavian says that their crew should search them for weapons, and Rachel Elizabeth Dare says that I didn't bring any unless you count this hairbrush. The Romans are confused because she seems dead serious when she explains that she did throw the hairbrush at Kronos, the Lord of Time, and it did temporarily stun him. They're like, oh, this is a joke, but then she like doesn't flinch, and they're like, I think she really did this.
What I love is she has been at Camp Half-Blood for a while now. Like, she has her whole Oracle Cave. She strikes me as the kind of person who would be like, I'm at a training camp for special people. Like, I want to learn how to do some weaponry and sword fighting. But she's like, you know what? This blue hairbrush, it worked just fine. I think we're good with this.
I think we're all set. I think I'm good. I'll just prophesize and throw my hairbrush at people. Now, Raina asks, who is your friend here? And she thought that Rachel Elizabeth Dare was coming alone. So Rachel Elizabeth there introduces Grover, saying that he is in charge of the council. And Octavian says, what council? And Grover says, Cloven Elders, man. Seriously, don't you Romans have nature and trees and stuff? He explains that he has news, and in addition to his news, he's here to protect Rachel Elizabeth there because he is a protector. Raina is fighting back a smile, and she asks Grover if he has any weapons, and he replies wistfully, just the pipes. The reed pipes. Percy always said my cover of Born to Be Wild, which, also very fitting. That was playing when I got to baggage claim today, so mwah. Said my cover of Born to Be Wild should count as a dangerous weapon, but I don't think it's that bad. Now, Octavian doesn't like that Grover is another friend of Percy since he has beef against Percy because Percy is fun and Octavian is the absence of fun. Raina says that her dogs have sniffed out no lies yet. That's what they do. So things are going okay, but she warns these Greeks, all right, hey, keep it up. You're not going to want to lie. Keep it moving. Give us the truth. Tell us the story. What's going on? So Rachel Elizabeth there pulls out a napkin with a message on it from Annabeth. And Jason thinks that it's impossible given that she is in Tartarus, the deepest pit of hell. But that was the reverse burnt offering thing that we saw from a couple of chapters ago, where they brought it back to camp. Now, Jason wonders if this is some sort of post-death hallucination. He's like, surely I've plummeted to my death and I'm dreaming this because this is impossible, but it feels too real. Raina then reads the note, asks if it's a joke, and Rachel Elizabeth there says, I wish. They're really in Tartarus. Oh, wild stuff, wild stuff.
I love this scene because I love the contrast between Rachel being like one of the coolest girls in the world and Octavian just being a loser.
Yeah. Definitely.
Just, she seems so capable and he just is so whiny.
Yeah, and she's very sure of herself and confident, and he is just flailing at every instance and, grasping at straws when he doesn't have full control of the situation. Raina begins to ask how they got the note, and Rachel Elizabeth there cuts her off to say that she has no idea. It just appeared in their burnt offerings brazier at camp. She knows that it is Annabeth's note because of the handwriting. I love that Rachel is close enough friends with Annabeth to know her handwriting. So sweet.
I like that they've I bet that they've written letters to each other
or they've
year.
journaled together.
Yeah. They did,
Percy was so annoying today.
They did one of those Sisterhood of the Traveling Journal things where you send and you switch them. They have they set it up with Thalia and a bunch of other camp
all the
girls.
ladies.
Yeah. They're just
good.
sending journals in a circle to make their own pages and stuff.
This is good. She knows this from Annabeth, and she says that Annabeth has asked for Raina by name. Octavian doesn't believe that they're actually in Tartarus. Raina hands him the note, and then he gets to the description where it mentions the Athena Parthnos, and then he's convinced that this is a classic Greek trick. Raina asks, why ask this of me? And they haven't said exactly what it is yet, so I was like, well, ask what? Give us the details. I want to know. Rachel Elizabeth answers, because Annabeth is wise. She believes that you can do this. Raina Avila Ramirez Arellano. Whoa, big last name drop for Raina. She was just Raina for a couple of books, and now she's got 4 names.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Sure. I was just very surprised.
Yeah, she does have a big fancy name.
But we learn later she's Puerto Rican, and that is a very normal kind of thing to have. But it just kind of, at first I was like, whoa, I didn't miss this, right? And then the next 3 paragraphs are about this is Raina's name, guys. We've never talked about it yet. And I was like, cool.
I'm not surprised you felt like that though, because we've met Hilla too. Mm-hmm. So it's you've already met a member of her family.
Right.
So it is kind of a big it feels intense. It has weight.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Rick knew this from the beginning or if in between books 3 and 4 he was like, what if Raina was Puerto Rican? He saw a production of West Side Story and he was like, ooh.
I think she was definitely Latina from the start.
I remember her description at least being darker skin, dark hair. So I was not surprised. The mental picture I had of her was I don't know if I had it set to a certain background, but I definitely feel the description in the book was darker skin, darker hair, so this tracks. And Jason is shocked, just like me, because no one uses her full name. But it makes sense that Rachel Elizabeth there would, given that she's the Oracle, and that I always call her by her full name.
And it's also it adds weight to her being I am the Oracle, because she knows that name that probably very few people know.
Yeah, I guess that's, the point is to prove I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just some girl. Jason, shocked as no one uses her full name. Jason said it aloud once to try and pronounce it, and Raina replied that she left that name behind when she left Puerto Rico. And that's very dramatic for a teenage girl to say. Maybe if you were like in your 40s and you had this all past life, but like, I don't know what age she left Puerto Rico.
Yeah, she's thinking about her background.
True.
With Circe's Island. Like, this girl is like 16 and has lived 3 different lives already.
She's lived a life. That's true. That's true.
Whatever happened before Circe's, then Circe's Island, and now Camp Jupiter. Like,
I could see maybe she like looks too positively at the Puerto Rican era of her, and she's like, I don't want to use that name because like I've been through so much crap since then that like
but
that's
it's
a
also,
different me.
As you said, very funny to imagine a 16-year-old girl saying that.
That's the old me. I'm not 14 and a half anymore. So Raina scowls and wonders how Rachel Elizabeth Dare knows. Grover asks, are your initials really rah-rah? Which is great. Raina then grabs her dagger and Grover goes, but that's not important! But Grover says that they wouldn't have risked coming here if not for trusting Annabeth's instincts. They recognize that a Roman returning a famous Greek statue to the Greek camp could stop the war. And this is cool. I like the way they did this where through the context clues of clearly the note says Athena Parthnos on it, and then Grover says a sentence that kind of makes it more clear. You put together that the note says Raina should bring the Athena Parthnos back to Camp Half-Blood.
The classic showing versus telling.
Yeah, which I really like. I like when pieces of media treat the audience as an intelligent watcher and they don't have to be like, so just to be clear. I like this a lot. Like if anyone's watched the movie Tar is great where like they really respect the viewer for like knowing what's up. Like I'm not going to give spoilers away, but there's like a couple of things where they never like explicitly say what is happening for a particular relationship between two, and if people have seen the movie, they know what I'm talking about. But like
that's
as you
learn,
kind of
thing, yeah.
as you learn a little more, like, and then you get to. It depends for the viewer, like when that realization dawns on you, because then you get to go like, oh no, and it's great without someone being like, and this is the bad thing they did. Like, it's really good. So I like that. So the whole plan is clearly have the Romans bring the statue to the Greek camp, bring the fancy Greek statue, stop the war between the Greeks and the Romans. The dogs are not barking, so our heroes are not lying. Octavian still believes this to be a scheme because he's stubborn. Some of the other Romans are muttering like, oh yeah, maybe he's got a good point. Rachel Elizabeth Dare tells Octavian that as a son of Apollo, he should have more respect for the Oracle of Delphi. Rachel Elizabeth Dare. Octavian says, okay, yeah, if you're the Oracle of Delphi, then I'm Emperor Nero. And Grover goes, at least Nero could play music. The wind starts whipping. Rachel Elizabeth Dare has this green aura around her briefly, like she's about to give a prophecy, but then the wind and the green aura pass pretty quickly. And she says that she doesn't have a full prophecy to offer, but she does have a glimpse into the future. And she says that she sees the Athena Parthenos atop Half-Blood Hill, which matches what Annabeth saw in one of her dreams. And she sees Raina bringing it to camp. And she sees Ella, the harpy who can memorize stuff, murmuring lines of the Sibylline books. And that's a big drop for everyone involved, including me, the reader. It's big.
Yep.
So
I love an Ella mention.
Yeah, it had been a while since I thought about Ella, our friend. I guess it was like the very beginning of Mark of Athena. So almost like a full book since we've heard how she's doing.
Yep, and now we know that her and Tyson are official.
I know, how exciting. Raina thought that these books were destroyed centuries ago. Octavian says that he knew that Ella was doing more than just muttering nonsense like the Greeks told him she was. And I couldn't exactly remember with the Sibylline books. Wasn't it like they were said to be destroyed, but then Octavian like had like a rogue set that were like burnt and tattered or something?
It was supposed to be like books of Roman prophecy that were like lost to the ages. And then I don't think he had any sort of rogue set, but they may have had fragments of stuff. And then just like, I haven't read the book in a hot second, but just I believe that he was hearing Ella say things that sounded like a prophecy and sounded like Roman specific prophecy. So he was like suspecting that there was something there. And then Percy's like, no, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So Octavian isn't necessarily doing anything nefarious with the Sibylline books, but he wants to know what they say. And the worry was that if he knew Ella was saying it, he would try to do something evil with her.
These prophecies belong to the Romans. So this person who is their own being belongs to us, which I don't like.
Super gross for a character we already hated.
Favorite. Yeah, this is my least favorite thing Octavian's ever said, and he said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you already hate me, Octavian? Hold my beer. It's me, Octavian. I'll be worse. Like, yeah, just awful. So bad. He's the worst. So Raina asks how Ella could be memorizing part of these books that were destroyed. Rachel Elizabeth there says she doesn't know. And Octavian says that the Greeks have stolen Ella. And Grover says that much like Destiny's Child, she's an independent woman. Plus, she's dating his good friend Tyson. So we're not going to act like she's just some, property. She's got a cool Cyclops boyfriend.
Yeah. I bet they eat like the best peanut butter sandwiches together.
Right? That sounds lovely. Gosh, what a fun family. Octavian says that if the Greeks won't return her, like you're saying, they should take the oracle hostage, I guess is like a tit for tat thing because Ella contains important Roman prophecies. Octavian calls for guards and 2 of them step forward. Jason doesn't say which 2. I want to know which 2 because I want to know which 2 of these Romans I have to think a lot less of. Grover then plays a quick little riff on his reed pipes, and that turns their spears into Christmas trees, and they get scared and drop them.
I want to know, like, the size of these Christmas trees.
That's what I was wondering, too.
Wielding a huge Christmas tree, you could still probably, like...
Maybe they're like the wimpy little Charlie Brown trees with the one ball.
With, like, those single, like...
And the wooden planks,
Just kind of smack someone with it.
Yeah, stop it. So they drop them out of fear. Raina yells, enough! And it's rare for her to raise her voice, so everybody stops what they're doing. Raina recaps what Rachel Elizabeth there said. So we do get still a little bit of the, like, just to be clear, which I was like, nah. But it's all good. Rachel Elizabeth there confirms by saying that only a Roman can return the statue. Raina asks, why would we, the Romans, want peace after the Greek ship attacked their Roman camp? And Rachel Elizabeth there says that it will restore the gods' form so they're not flickering between the Greek and Roman aspects, and because the Greek and Romans need to work together to defeat Gia. Octavian then steps forward, and Raina shoots him a look that silences him. Love this. Oh, she doesn't even have to tell him to shut up. She just has to look at him and he shuts up. Ooh. Really, really like that a lot. Love Raina here.
She's so good.
She's fantastic. I love that we're getting more of her. Like, it was hinted at that there might be more, and the fact that she does seem to be, like, now being a major player.
She's also, like, such a girl's girl in this chapter, like, being, like, Annabeth's wise, like, I trust her, and, like, being like, no, we're not going to take Rachel captive. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, not going to take Ella captive, not going to let Rachel be taken captive. Like, no way at all. It's good. It's really good.
I love her.
I love her too. So Raina continues that Percy said that the fight with Gia will be in Greece. Rachel Elizabeth there confirms, saying that that's where the giants are, and whatever ritual they're planning with the giants is going to be done in Greece. Now, unfortunately, their problems are not limited to the ancient lands, Grover says, and that's why he is here. He says that satyrs across the land have been saying that Gia is stirring. They believe her to be on the edge of consciousness. She's about to wake up and come back and cause some havoc. And she's been doing little evil things here and there, like trying to turn the naiads against the gods and the demigods. She's been disrupting the dryads and the centaurs, and she's been appearing in human form and spooking satyrs. Not great. Not great, Gia.
I feel like there could be so much interesting stuff with Grover and Gia in this because of all of that. Anyway, that's all. I just love him being like, hey, this is what's going on in our corner, and I want to see more of what's going on in that corner, because that just sounds like a wild thing for him to be dealing with when he's still like, he's like 20, 30 years old at this point.
He's like mid to late 20s.
Yeah, or he's 20, technically in the books he's 28 in the first one, so by now he's like in his 30s. He's also still aging halfway, so he's like still kind of a teen, having to be in charge of all this, being head of the Council of Cloven Elders, having to deal with like Mother Nature, the thing that he cares most about, trying to kill everyone.
Give us the Grover books, Rick. We need them when you run out of ideas. So Rachel Elizabeth there states that the point of all of this is that when Gia rises, she will rise everywhere. It's not just going to be a Greece thing. Like, all of the land is going to be attacked. The battle won't be limited to Greece, and the demigod camps are for sure the first 2 things that are going to be attacked, because she wants to vanquish demigod kind. Octavian says that this is pure speculation, and this is all just a distraction tactic. He says it's the Trojan horse all over again, and bro, you're going to have to reread that story because it was very different. It involved people hiding inside of a big wooden animal. This is completely different.
I could see it with, like, something that looks like a peace offering, but is hiding treachery. But also, he has no basis for this other than just bigotry against Greeks.
I guess him calling it a distraction, it's not like they just like brought in an empty Trojan horse and then everyone was just going like, wow,
True.
a horse.
Yeah,
and then they like attacked behind them.
I guess he
like
thinks
they were
that
hiding in the horse.
Yeah, I guess he might think that there's like 50 Greeks inside the Athena Parthnos who've just been waiting there for all
it is
these
really
years.
big. It's a 40-foot tall statue. It can work. Oh my gosh.
Like they've just been like piled on each other's shoulders for like thousands of years,
It's like the
waiting for their moment.
We're 12 kids in a statue, not 3 kids in a trench coat. Raina calls for Marcus to bring Scipio from the stables. Octavian yells in protest. Raina completely ignores him, and she says that she will do this for Annabeth in order to create peace between the camps, but she will not forget the attack that took place on Camp Jupiter that started all of this. She demands that the Greeks leave. Grover's a little bit bitter, but Rachel Elizabeth there is like, dude, let's get out of here. So they do. Octavian asks Raina if she's got her head on straight, and she says that she believes that this move is in the best interest of Rome. Octavian goes, to get yourself killed? To break our oldest laws and travel to the ancient lands? How will you even find their ship, assuming you survived the journey? And Raina responds that she will find them. She knows a place that Jason will stop at on the way to Greece because he needs an army, and there's only one place that he could find that help. And boy, golly, is it useful for Jason to be the narrator in this chapter so that he could be watching this dream, because it feels like very important information for Jason to receive.
I feel like if this was Leo, he wouldn't be able to pay a lot of attention. And if it was Piper, I think she would, but she'd be a little distracted.
Sure. Yeah, perfect for him to hear this, because as we'll learn later, like this jogs his memory. He was like, oh, right, I forgot.
Maybe he should thank the air spirit that he killed.
Yeah, good thing he fell asleep at this right moment, so it's all working out. Narrator Jason lets us know that he does know what she's talking about, but he doesn't reveal to us quite yet what that place is. That's for next chapter. Octavian is enraged, and he does mention in his little tirade that the hairy dwarfs from before that were messing with our friends, that they had them sicked on our enemies here. The hairy dwarfs have made their way to the Romans, and they are stealing their things. And Octavian is convinced that the Greeks sent them. I love that this is actually happening. I would love to see like what specifically has been going down.
I mean, at least there's one thing he is not like wrong about. That did happen.
Yeah. Like they were sent, but you know.
Maybe he deserves it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just glad that we got to see Octavian be angry about it. When Leo came up with that idea, that's all I wanted, and we've gotten it. Great. So Raina says, look, even if that's true, we're not going to be attacking Camp Half-Blood without my orders. Instead, I want you to scout the camp, gather more allies, and if you do apprehend those dwarfs, you have my permission to vanquish them and send them back to Tartarus. But she reiterates, do not attack Camp Half-Blood. And then narrator Jason says, Octavian narrowed his eyes. While you're gone, the augur is the senior officer. I will be in charge. I know. Raina didn't sound happy about it, but you have my orders. You all heard them. She scanned the faces of the centurions, daring them to question her. Even before we get the next sentence about what Octavian says, right away, I just did not have high hopes for him listening to Raina.
No, and it also really highlights how much Raina is trusting and how important this is, and Annabeth's note and what Rachel is saying, because I don't think she would leave Octavian in charge otherwise.
Yeah.
This is clear. She is like, okay, I have to take this very seriously, and unfortunately, leave the dumbest man I know commanding our troops.
Yeah, really bad. So she exits, and as soon as Raina does, Octavian says that he wants a meeting with the senior officers once Raina is completely on her quest, because he has a few changes to make to the Legion's plans. Boo! So the book ends the chapter with the following quote: one of the centurions opened his mouth to respond, but for some reason, he spoke in Piper's voice. Wake up! Jason's eyes snapped open, and he saw the ocean's surface hurtling towards him. Oh, so that's the end of the chapter, which I have retitled, I Have a Pipes Dream, which is like the misdirect, because if you were reading this chapter, you'd be like, oh, it's about Piper, but no, it's about the reed pipes of Grover.
I like that. This one I struggled with a little bit. I was thinking I fall asleep.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. Emphasis on fall.
I was asleep on the job, which is literally the
how
opening
the line
of the
opens.
chapter. But yeah.
All right, so we will continue into chapter 34. It is a Jason chapter. We will retitle it, but it opens with Jason survived. Barely. Oh, okay. Classic Jason, almost dying.
Yeah.
I don't feel great because I have predicted him to really die, so
no.
but we'll see. And I won't look at anyone's face so that I don't see facial reactions. Now, his friends told him later that they didn't see him falling until the last second, so they didn't have time for Frank to turn into a bird and swoop down or anything else. So the only thing they could do was have Piper, she came up with this great idea of just to scream at the top of her lungs.
Just charm speaking him awake.
It worked.
Which honestly would be really helpful for me because I always sleep through my alarm.
Yeah, look, I would love it. I was so bad with sleeping through alarms. I had to get one of those alarms that is like on wheels and rolls around your room. When I was an engineer, Clocky, he did some good stuff for me.
One of my friends is such a heavy sleeper that he had to get one of those alarm clocks built for hard of hearing and deaf people that like shakes your bed like you're in an earthquake.
Okay.
And I think I should get something like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's like ones that are like a puzzle you have to put together. Yeah. There's
my problem is like I would get up, turn off the alarm, and then go back to bed, which is like the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. What I would recommend, have a child. They're great alarm clocks. They work quite well.
I have 2 cats, and one of them does try to eat my charger, and that gets me out of bed quick.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
She's destroyed like 3 phone chargers.
I like the applause.
She knows that's what will get me out of bed to feed her breakfast, is if she's like, you slept in too long. Hey, if I chew on these cords, you're going to get up.
I know what you really love. Your phone.
It's really bad. I need to get more of the like bitter apple spray for it.
Oh my gosh. So Jason asks Leo for a change of course to go to this new meeting point. And Leo doesn't question it, just plugs in the new coordinates, and then they're on their way. So Jason's feeling a little jittery, still kind of rattled from what happened in the dream, almost dying, all these sorts of things. But he does relay the contents of his dream to the rest of the crew. And he does so over lunch. Piper is shocked about the note. Her and Leo tag team a line where she starts it and he finishes it to say that this does mean that she's alive. They weren't confident that she was alive. Now they have that confirmation, which is good. Mm-hmm. Now Frank is surprised that Raina is going against the taboo of visiting the ancient lands. Makes sense because he's from the Roman camp, so he would have this experience here. And he says that she would be stripped of her praetorship if she did this and then came back to camp. And then Hazel, being the Debbie Downer that she is, says, well, that would only happen if she survives.
Thanks, Hazel.
But she does make a good point. She was like, look, there are 7 of us on this warship that's got gadgets and weapons and all this kind of stuff.
Gadgets and gizmos aplenty.
Yes, thank you. Well done. Thank you. Well done. It's got all of that. And we've had a tough time. She's just going to be one person riding on a Pegasus, and that's it. How's that going to work? But Coach Hedge interjects to say that this comparison needs to be even more lopsided because in addition to having a crew of 7 demigods, they also have him. Quote, don't forget, Cupcake, you got the satyr advantage.
The MVP right there.
The most valuable. I can't think of a goat word that starts with P.
I'm
Pal. All right.
Well, at the very least, that makes Raina party of 1 most valuable praetor.
Most valuable praetor. There you go. Yes. Nice. Good. We got there. So Jason cracks a smile. He does let us know that he's glad Hedge is here, and it's especially funny for him after seeing Grover, the other satyr that he knows, and Hedge. He's thinking, like, these are 2 very different people. They're both brave, but in very different ways. And then narrator Jason says, quote, it made Jason wonder about the fauns back at Camp Jupiter, whether they could be like that if the Roman demigods expected more from them. Another thing to add to his list. And I like this. I think that the fauns who are just kind of like, milling about the camp, not really doing anything, I think it is a little bit on the Camp Jupiter campers to try and get them more in the fold. I think part of the reason they act the way they are is because these campers are keeping them at bay. So if Jason tries to bring them into the fold, I think it'd be better.
And like the way that like we're introduced to the fauns in Son of Neptune just doesn't feel very good.
No, it's like a weird homeless person analogy that doesn't fit well.
So I like bringing up like that's not on them for like acting like that.
Yeah.
It's on us for not supporting them and having the resources. I think that could still be handled better.
Yes.
But I like that this is acknowledged.
Yeah. This is something it would be, maybe if I had like a really long interview with Rick, I would ask him like, what came about this? Like, did someone tell you like, hey, this is kind of bad. You should try and make this a little better. Like, or was this just him
like
realizing on his own?
Or already planned.
Or was it planned? Yeah, it could be.
Natural thing that came up when he was like, writing Jason comparing the 2.
Who's to say? Rick is. So Jason realizes that he's been forming this mental list since leaving Camp Half-Blood about ways to improve Camp Jupiter, but really it's just ways to make Camp Jupiter a little more Greek. And he's
So improving it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good things about Camp Half-Blood. He says as the narrator, he'd grown up at Camp Jupiter, he'd done well there, but he had always been a little unconventional. He chafed under the rules, he joined the 5th cohort because everyone told him not to. They warned him it was the worst unit, so he'd thought, fine, I'll make it the best. Once he becomes...
This is like a good example of like why I personally prefer Camp Half-Blood to Camp Jupiter, because it's not just the nostalgia and like new Camp Half-Blood first. It's also like Camp Half-Blood feels like a group of like scrappy public school kids. And Camp Jupiter feels like a military academy.
Yeah.
And like I relate to scrappy public school kids
Sure.
more.
I think at the very least, because I don't have experience with military academy, but like for the Camp Half-Blood side of it, I like that there is no, like even the cabins of the big three seem to be the ones that people like the least. Like it's not like a hierarchy like, oh, you're in the worst one. Like it's not like in Hunger Games where it's like, oh, you're from District 12.
It's like every other book, Percy was, it didn't matter what you did the year before. Everyone was like, oh, you did something different. Now we're mad at you again.
Yep, no one thought highly of him for anything. But yes, Jason continues saying, once he'd become praetor, he campaigned to rename the legion the First Legion rather than the 12th Legion to symbolize a new start for Rome. The idea had almost caused a mutiny. New Rome was all about tradition and legacies, and the rules didn't change easily. Jason had learned to live with that and even rose to the top. So I like that he's, realizing his history, thinking of ways to improve. I like that we're getting more like interesting development for Jason, who's kind of just been like, standard hero. Now we're like learning more about like what makes him him.
And it's also like going to show that the Greeks and the Romans at their heart aren't that different, and having the experiences of one or the other does what Hera wanted it to do, of like bringing them together. Even if right now coming together is potentially going to result in battles to the death.
Sure.
Yeah,
Details.
it's one of those things where it's like seeing the potential of what it could look like if they come out the other end of this, and how these two different communities could potentially be able to work together if, Percy can look at New Rome and be like, hey, I kind of do like this place and how these things work. And Jason looking at Camp Half-Blood and being like, I like how this stuff works.
Yeah. This is good. I would love to see them kind of take notes from each other and try to make improvements on either end. It would be really nice, but we'll have to see whatever happens with the camps. Hopefully they don't get destroyed by Gia. After seeing both camps, Jason thinks that Camp Half-Blood taught him a little bit more about himself. He hopes that if they all survive, he could change Camp Jupiter for the better. He knows that it's his duty, but he can't help but feel a little bit of dread because he doesn't love the idea of leaving Raina to preside over Camp Jupiter alone, but he does want to return to Camp Half-Blood with Piper and Leo, so he's feeling torn.
It's the conflict between responsibility and heart.
Yeah. Leo snaps Jason back to reality after this little daydream thinking session, and Jason says, yeah, Raina does have a tall task ahead, but I believe in her. If anybody can do it, it's her. And then Jason immediately worries, oh, is Piper going to get jealous? Should I have said this? But then Piper shoots him more of a teasing look, not a look of insecurity. And she goes, well, I'd love to see Raina again, but how is she supposed to find us? And I like that Piper is taking this in stride and making light of it. Frank suggests they could use an iris message, but Hedge says that they haven't been working lately. And I was like, oh, right. There's this Hedge thing where he's been iris messaging someone and he's been sad about it. And I have these guesses about who it was, and we learn a little bit more here. Leo asks, who have you been calling so much? And then Hedge very angrily tries to deflect and deny. And then Hazel jumps in for the save, saying that what Hedge meant is that they already tried together and there's some sort of magic interference going on. Maybe it's Gia, maybe it's the Romans doing some sort of defense thing to keep the calls away.
Maybe Iris just decided to focus even more on her co-op.
Yeah, she's really getting these new granola clusters going down.
She needs all hands on deck to focus on that.
We really got to make these imitation Twinkies. Yeah. But then narrator Jason thinks, oh yeah, Coach hasn't mentioned his cloud nymph girlfriend Millie in a while. And I was like, I didn't realize they were official. I think in a previous episode, my guess was like, does Coach Hedge secretly have a kid that he misses? And that's why he's all sad. I don't know if I had posited that Millie could be there. Maybe my guess did, but I had forgotten that they were like actually a thing and not just like a fling thing. So I think that Jason's probably correct here, but I hadn't thought of this as a possibility. But oh man, I like this a little side plot. I had completely forgotten about it, so I love that it's
I
back.
just love like the meet cute of Coach Hedge and Millie.
So
in
cute.
What was it? The first book of the HOO series.
Yeah, it's like towards the end of Lost Hero.
I love it. It's
really
very
good.
funny. I love how he just charms her so easily when the reader and the kids around him are like, this guy needs to calm down.
I was not like that. I've loved Coach Hedge. I've been a Coach Hedge day oneer.
I do adore him personally too, but yeah, he's
tough to love, but once you get to know him.
apparently not.
Yeah, you're right. Hey. Frank guesses that Raina doesn't have a cell phone. Even if she did, service on Air Scipio wouldn't be too great. Jason reveals that their meeting spot is one that he had forgotten about, but she's 1,000% correct. He's definitely got to go there. Piper asks where it is, and he says a town called Split, and I wrote on my notes, Croatia. I've never been to Croatia. I've long wanted to go to Croatia. It's on like the top of my list. I really want to go, and I know Split is a town name from Croatia because it just stands out as like a fun, interesting name for a city, and I've heard people talk about it. Now, you got to let the record show here that narrator Jason has been swooning over Piper a couple of different ways, looking into her multicolored eyes and looking at her.
Smells really good.
She smells of honeysuckle, looking at her caramel-colored braid. And then the book goes, yeah. Jason wondered if Piper was working some sort of Aphrodite magic on him. Like maybe every time he mentioned Raina's name, she would befuddle him so much he couldn't think about anything but Piper. He supposed it wasn't the worst sort of revenge. In fact, we should be getting close. Leo? He's just like really trying to move it on.
This is like the most teenage girl and teenage boy thing ever. Like it's enhanced by magic. I'm like, Piper, you gotta calm down. But it's just like, I knew so many girls who would like do this in a non-magical way when like talking to guys, and then the guys just completely forgetting what they were talking about with like the attention that they're getting. I'm like, this is what teens would do if they had demigod power.
Okay.
She's like teasing him because she's like, well, I'm a daughter of Aphrodite and I could do this.
You know what? Power to her. She's been in a tough situation. Go for it. Make Jason feel a little, ooh. Give him those hard eyes. Make him go, awooga. Leo checks with Festus, who says they're about 10 minutes away, and then he comments that naming your town Split feels like naming your town Get Out. And I do think Split is a strange name. I never thought of it in that regard. When I first heard the name, it was on, there's a basketball podcast that I listen to, formerly called The Low Post, now The Zach Lowe Show. Very good. He has a live show in Denver tomorrow, and I'm crushed. If it was on the same day as my show, it'd be like, But his wife is Croatian and they vacation to Croatia all the time. And he mentions that he like knows about Croatian history. And he would say this, he would say like, oh, from Split, Croatia, and over again. And he would talk about it like in passing without like actually mentioning that it was like a city. I thought he was saying Split, Croatia, like there was East Croatia and West Croatia. Because I was like, I'm too young to know the whole like Yugoslavia. Croatia, yeah. Like, I don't know. I didn't ever had to cover that in high school history class.
Croatia is like on that boundary.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, like Croatia was split. There were like two. And then later on, I eventually learned, and I was like, thank goodness I've never had a conversation with anyone about this. Because I would have looked really stupid. This was just in my brain. I was like, oh, I guess Croatian history. And then Zach Lowe would be like, basketball. And I'd be like, right, basketball. And then never Google it ever.
Had the Piper Aphrodite powers, but with basketball.
Yeah, Zach Lowe's like, the Knicks. Oh, Mitchell Robinson, wow. Those rebounds are so good. Anyway, Percy Jackson. Hazel asks why they're going to Croatia. Leo dropped the name of Croatia when he was talking about it. And Jason notices that no one's making eye contact with Hazel, and he thinks that it's probably why he also finds it hard to make eye contact with her. Ever since she did the mist thing, she just feels a little spookier. She's already a child of Pluto, that's spooky. Then doing the mist manipulation, that's spooky. And then she was talking to Pluto, and that is like a bad omen for the Romans. So all sorts of spookiness going around. Leo says that they've technically been in Croatian territory for the past day because they've been going along the coast. And then Leo asks Jason, what was the name again of where we are? Bodacious? And Jason goes, Dalmatia. Close. It's a good bit. Like Rick does this bit of the like when it's a weird word, say like, what was it that? And I think it's great. But then we get another great bit because it was not Jason who corrected and said Dalmatia. It was Nico D'Angelo. From the corner in the dark.
Mr. Sunshine himself.
Just sneaking up ever so quietly, just. Dalmatia. Leans in. I love it. Nico's done this like 4 different times now, all with different narrators.
Do you think he just like waits in the corner?
Yeah, he's like an 80s action movie character who's like, they're gonna say my name. I can drive the helicopter.
They're like, they have a war meeting planned at this time, so I'm gonna go there an hour before. And I'm gonna just stand there and wait for the perfect moment to terrify
behind everyone. A plant. Dalmatia. But it's funny, and I'm pretty sure, because narrator Jason then goes, gosh, I wish I could put a bell around his neck so he would make noise. I'm pretty sure last time Leo was the narrator, the exact same thing happened. And I think he thought the exact same thought. Like, I don't think Jason is alone in thinking, duh, and then wanting to have some sort of noisemaker on Nico D'Angelo.
Like my favorite trope for like in a TV show or something, when a character is just popping out of nowhere and freaking people out.
Yeah, like Helga Pataki's creepy boyfriend. Yeah.
Well, and also Nico at this point, he has like the full Hot Topic garb and like the smudged eyeliner that somehow is always that perfect level of smudge. He's leaning into it.
Yeah, he's got the iPod in his pocket with the headphone cord running inside his shirt so that the cord doesn't get tangled. Exactly. But I'm surprised he's got nothing is jangly. He doesn't have jangly boots or a jangly bracelet. Like
he does. He uses shadows to like muffle it.
Oh, whoa.
Or he just walks really slowly.
Stays perfectly still.
Everyone's like, why does he walk like that? That's the weird. It's not that he's the son of Hades. It's not that he's like lurking around corners. It's that he
walks weird.
So weird.
So weird. That weird walking Nico D'Angelo. So yeah, then Jason continues saying, he reminded Jason a little too much of a flesh-eating ghoul he'd once fought in San Bernardino. What a description. Also give me that side story.
Because that would be one of the ghouls from Titan's Curse, right?
Oh.
Which is what I brought from that, because they were going to San Francisco in that book. Okay. And that's the book that the ghouls were resurrected by Atlas.
Oh.
And I don't remember if they accounted for all of them before Nico took out the last one.
Oh.
So for me, I was like, what if there was another ghoul that Jason had to fight during that time?
That's very cool. I didn't think about that. And this is why I have people who are smarter about Percy Jackson than me on the pod.
I've read the first series like 40 times.
And I've read it once.
I've only read Heroes of Olympus like 2.5 times.
2.5 times more than me. / infinite more for the other books to come. Nico states that Croatia used to be Dalmatia, a major Roman province. He guesses that Jason wants to visit Diocletian's palace. And Hedge asks if Dalmatia is where the 101 dogs are from, saying that he still has nightmares about them. And Frank goes, why? And then narrator Jason goes, Coach Hedge looked like he was about to launch into a major speech about the evils of cartoon Dalmatians, but Jason decided he didn't want to know. Jason. No. I've been defending you for so long.
When I read this, I was like, okay, yeah, it's a funny joke about Hedge being afraid of cartoon Dalmatians. But then I just now thought about it, I was like, Cruella de Vil is really scary and is trying to skin puppies in this movie.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, is he afraid of the dogs, or is he afraid of Cruella de Vil? Is he afraid of...
Maybe he's just terrified at the thought of, like, having to take care of that many children at once. Like,
sure, the responsibility.
Having that many puppies.
Yeah, what is the fear? I want to know more about Hedge. Give me the deeper... Jason. Jason says that Nico is right. His target is Diocletian's palace, and he wants to go because Raina knows that he would go. And he doesn't exactly answer why, but thankfully, the next line is Piper going, why? Do you have some sort of fascination with Croatian culture? And Jason then stares at his lunch, thinking about how hard it is to talk about his pre-Juno memory wipe years, because there's all the stuff with his memories being manipulated and everything. Jason says that he and Raina idolized Diocletian as a leader. They talked about wanting to visit his palace, even if it felt impossible, because they could never go to the ancient lands as Roman campers. Leo asks, okay, why is this guy so important? Frank looks offended, saying, he was the last great pagan emperor. And then Leo rolls his eyes and goes, yeah, of course, you'd be the one to know that one, Frank. And Frank thinks that this is a super normal fun fact to know because he was the last emperor to worship gods before Constantine came in and started making Christianity the official religion of the land.
Empire.
Yeah. Now, Hazel says, okay, yeah, my teachers told me about this guy, but they clocked him as a villain like Nero or Caligula, so why would you look up to him?
Because she went to a Catholic school in the 1940s.
Exactly. That is exactly what I thought. And I am glad you brought that up because that was going to be my exact joke. So well done. Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, because he has to be the bad guy. The book says, quote, he wasn't a total villain, Jason said. Yeah, he persecuted Christians.
Yeah,
he
sure.
persecuted Christians. But otherwise, he was a good ruler. Yada, yada. Such a good. He worked his way up from nothing by joining the Legion. His parents were former slaves, or at least his mom was. Demigods know he was a son of Jupiter, the last demigod to rule Rome. He was also the first emperor ever to retire, like peacefully, and give up his power. He was from Dalmatia, so he moved back there and built a retirement palace. The town of Split grew up around. He faltered when he looked at Leo, who was mimicking taking notes with an air pencil. Go on, Professor Grace, he said, why I want to get an A on the test. And then Jason goes, shut up, Leo. That, like, the best Leo joke so far, I think. Like, really, really top-notch stuff from Leo Valdez. I was very proud of him.
My favorite kind of joke, mostly because it is often directed at me.
Oh, like people, yeah.
And I have to like it.
So this happened to me because I was a long tour staying with my buddy Sal, who I went to college with and did improv with, and both in college and after graduating. And we've been friends for a very long time. And I had some of the merch that you can find at the merch table mailed into his house because the production time said it wasn't going to be ready before. So I was like, let's get it for at least that stop on tour. And it's the Mayor of Tangent Town pins. So I opened the box there and I explained it to him. And I said, I was like, yeah, because like on the podcast, sometimes I go on a lot of tangents. And Sal goes, just on the podcast? And I was like, oh, right to the heart. Oh, because I am super guilty of this.
Yeah.
I just like to tell the full story.
Well, when we've like recorded in the past, not in a live audience, I'm really controlling my urge to tangent right now because there's not time.
No.
But like when we've recorded before, there have been times where I'm like, that should all be cut. That has nothing to do with anything.
I love it. That's what makes it a podcast and not just the audiobooks.
Well, then we'll both go in that direction too. So at least it's not just one of us.
Deputy Mayor of Tangent Town, of course. When I'm out of town, you preside over and tell wild stories.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Piper asks, okay, why is this palace so special? And narrator Jason goes, Nico leaned over and plucked a grape. Probably that was the guy's entire diet for the day. And Nico says, it's said to be haunted by the ghost of Diocletian. And Jason adds, yes, because this guy was the son of Jupiter, his tomb was destroyed centuries ago. He and Raina wanted to ask the ghost where he was buried because there is a legend that his scepter, not his scepter, his scepter was buried with him. And then Nico clarifies that the legend says that this scepter could summon the ghost of the Roman legions who worship the old gods. And these are those reinforcements that Raina talked about. And I was like, oh, we're getting Aragorn Return of the King ghost army?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It, honestly, and that part of Return of the King is...
Wait. Okay, sorry, not to interrupt, but...
Oh.
Famously, Aragorn opens the doors all sexy-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in this book, they gotta open doors.
They have to open a door. I mean,
it could happen.
Yeah. Here's my tangent since we were talking about
Please.
Listen. I love the extended editions of Lord of the Rings more than anything. One thing that I think was better in the theatrical edition was... If you don't care about Lord of the Rings or haven't seen it, you're going to be so lost. But when he is like doing his speech and like all the ghosts are showing up and it seems like things are about to go real bad and like Aragorn says, what say you a bunch? Mm-hmm. In the theatrical version, it cuts off after he says, what say you? And you don't know the result of that. And then the ships pull in for that big battle.
And then they just show up.
They think it's the reinforcements for the bad guys. And then they jump off the boat and then the ghost army comes. I think that's just so much better than you seeing the aftermath of all of that immediately in the extended edition. I don't know. It's like the one thing I nitpick about the longer ones, which I will watch all the time and waste my time. But yeah.
I've only seen the theatricals and I agree. It is a cool like surprise moment. So
yeah, you got to watch the extended editions.
That was Kelly made me watch the theatricals before we got married because she wouldn't say yes to absolutely.
Well, she's correct for that.
Do you take him to be your lawful husband? No.
Not unless.
Yeah.
No. Here's how you do it. You do what I did with some of my friends when they hadn't watched it before. You prep 7 Hobbit meals.
Oh, okay.
You have everyone come over early in the morning. You start the first one. You have your first breakfast. You have your second breakfast. You have your 11sies. You have your lunch. You have your afternoon tea. You have your dinner and your supper. You make them Hobbit themed. Like when we did it, we had giant stuffed poblano stuff and like mushrooms and stuff that were Hobbit sized, so they were like extra big, and we had like hand pies, and you make a whole thing of it where you're watching the extended editions with all your friends. You have a party, you're all sitting, you're eating good food, you're getting really stuffed because it's a lot. You get some meat, like it's very fun.
That sounds phenomenal.
That's how you do it.
Sounds like the optimal way.
Everyone do that immediately next weekend.
Anyway, Percy Jackson. So
Percy Jackson.
Nico clarifies about this summoning ghost kings and stuff. Deputy Mayor of Tangent Town. But now Leo's interested because he thinks, having a ghost army that could kick some butt would be useful. And Jason says, I don't know if I would put it that way, but yeah. Frank goes, all right, look, we don't have a lot of time. It's already July 9th. We've got to get to Epirus. We've got to close the doors of death. And Hazel reminds us all that they are guarded by Big Smoky Giant and a sorceress. And she's not sure exactly what they want to do, but she does relay that Pluto told her that the sorceress wants to rebuild her domain, which sounds bad, sounds really bad. And it's so bad that Pluto had to directly warn Hazel that that's the plan.
Yeah.
Not what you want.
Doesn't sound good.
Not good. So then Frank is thinking, okay, yeah, so even if we survive all of this, now we got to figure out where the giants are trying to wake Gia, and we got to get there before the 1st of August. And then also, the longer Percy and Annabeth are in Tartarus. And Jason goes, I know. Quote, we won't take long and split, but looking for the scepter is worth a try. While we're at the palace, I can leave a message for Raina, letting her know the route we're taking for Epirus. Nico thinks this is a good plan, thinking that this scepter could make a really big difference. And he goes, look, you're going to need my help for this. I'm the creepiest boy on campus.
He's the ghost king.
He's the ghost king. Jason tries to hide how uncomfortable this makes him, but he's thinking like, yeah, being with Nico isn't exactly ideal, but he's probably right. And he lets us know as the narrator that Percy had shared some disturbing Nico stories and his not so sure that he can always trust him vibes. And it's funny given the previous chapters that we read where Percy being like, I for sure could have treated Nico a lot better. So I like that Jason immediately after is like, Percy's been talking trash about him.
Well, just the idea of like a scene of Jason and Percy just kind of chilling, and Percy's like, so did you know that Nico, that 12-year-old we're going to save, he betrayed me. Let me tell you all about this stuff.
He lied to me.
He's super creepy. He asked if Annabeth was the daughter of Athena. Why didn't she know better than to fall off a cliff? I think that's the thing he's most mad about.
He's still holding on.
But that he wasn't cool with.
Not at all. So Piper then squeezes Jason's hand and goes, hey, sounds fun. I'll go too. And this is a fun little trio to go on this quest. And then narrator Jason goes, Jason wanted to yell, thank the gods. But Nico then declines this offer, saying that it can't be Piper. Quote, it should only be Jason and me. Diocletian's ghost might appear for a son of Jupiter, but any other demigods would most likely ... spook him. And I'm the only one who can talk to his spirit. Even Hazel won't be able to do that. And then the book ends the chapter with the following. Oh yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, it is really interesting to me that Hazel wouldn't be able to do it, because even though she has way less ghostly powers, she's more the
underground stuff.
She is Roman, and Diocletian was the last of the Roman Empire.
Yeah,
but I get why this is happening the way that it is.
Yeah, it's like on the flowchart, it's like, can you commune with ghosts? No.
Yeah.
Not are you Roman? I think it would help, but they need son of Jupiter and ghost communicator.
Ghost king.
Ghost king, yes. So the book ends the chapter with the following quote. Nico's eyes held a gleam of challenge. He seemed curious as to whether or not Jason would protest. The ship's bell sounded. Festus creaked and whirred over the loudspeaker. We've arrived, Leo announced. Time to split. Really good. Frank groaned. Can we leave Valdez in Croatia? Jason stood. Frank, you're in charge of defending the ship. Leo, you've got repairs to do. The rest of you, help out wherever you can. Nico and I, ... He faced the son of Hades. we have a ghost to find. And that's the end of this chapter. Do you have a retitling for chapter 34?
Mine was Percy Jackson, starting with I style. I save a date for my ex because of this plan that Raina and Jason had to go to this place. So that was the first one that came to mind. But another one would be like, we become Ghostbusters, or we form the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's good. It's hard. I had a really tough time because there were like a lot of things I wanted to do, but I think I just have to go with, because like it was just so good. I just think Time to Split is perfect. Like I don't think I can punch up. Leo's like really strong in this chapter. I liked it a lot. Yeah. Speaking of Time to Split, that is the end of this portion of the episode. So let's, if you're listening after the fact, we're going to take our intermission here. We're going to take our break, the mid-roll break, the House of Headlines. So let's all say goodbye to the podcast people.
Goodbye, podcast people.
Hello and welcome to the House of Headlines Auxiliary Shubio edition. I'm here in the Auxiliary Shubio and I've got updates about this episode, the whole podcast and everything. First up, with this episode, the live show we did here at this point in the show, we came back from intermission and did some improv comedy that we called Camp Laugh Blood. I got to take the stage with my buddy Ben, who I did college improv with for years, and some other really talented improvisers from the Denver area. And we did some Greek mythology / summer camp inspired improv. If you want to see this, head on over to the TNO Patreon and join at the Super God tier or above. That's the bonus episodes tier. It's been up for weeks now at this point. I think I uploaded it soon after the actual show, but you can see that whole set in stunning crystal clear video. I propped up my nice camera and put it there. So if you want to check that out, check that out. As far as checking things out for podcast stuff, we have new merchandise. We've got a new t-shirt that I worked on in collaboration with Robert from the Damn Media page. It is inspired by the shirt that Spider-Man wears in the third Tom Holland Spider-Man, which is also like a classic New York City touristy shirt. The I survived my trip to NYC with a taxi driving, but it's I survived my ride in the Grey Sisters taxi, and it's a gorgeous design that looks like the Grey Sisters taxi from the show. It's super cool, and you can get it right now at thenewsolympian.com/merch. So that is up there. I'm also working on getting the Mayor of Tangent Town pins that we've had on tour up on the merch store online as well. And then I'm going to be working on a new poster design for our upcoming run of shows in the fall. If you want to help me with the design of it, make sure you join the Patreon at the Ultra God tier. So the Ultra God tier features access to being a member of the Olympic Court. And when I have major decisions I need to make about the podcast, such as merchandise questions or what book series should I cover after Heroes of Olympus, I poll that group because that feels like the trusted producer level support people. If you want to be involved in production of the podcast, that's where you go. So I'm going to be asking for particular ideas to put in that poster. I have a sense of what I want to do for the design, but I want to get some feedback from the listeners to make sure that it's perfect. Speaking of feedback, I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but my intern Sophie put together a TNO listener survey that asks questions about the podcast and about listening to live show episodes after the fact, attending live show episodes in person, what you would like from the podcast. And I'm going to put a link to it in the episode description of this episode. If you could fill that out, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much to everyone who has filled it out. It's been very helpful, and it's good to get all of the insight from folks about what they like from the show, what they want to see from the show, and more. So thank you all. I really do appreciate it. Two podcast scheduling note things. The first is that we're going to be taking the first week of June off. It is a 5-Monday month, so going to be taking that first Monday, June 1st off. If I have some sort of bonus, something to post, I will. If not, listen to some of the other shows I make. I have recorded another episode of Meddling Adults, so hopefully I can get together stuff to complete season 5, part A. That would be really nice to get back on track there, but I hopefully will post something, no guarantees, but we're not going to be doing an episode on June 1st. We'll come back on June 8th. And as far as upcoming episode stuff, I have talked a little bit about the Atlanta live stream and trying to make sure I have the high quality stream to send out to people who bought tickets or put it up for purchase for folks who didn't get tickets before the stream went live. I'm still waiting for that video file from the stream people. I'm going to send them a follow-up email on Monday and just see where that's at. But at least right now, I don't have an update. If you want to be updated as soon as possible, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Olympian, or I will post about it in the Patreon Discord most likely. So join the Patreon, set up your Discord account, and then boom, be a part of the community and get updates. Speaking of live shows, we have one live show on the books right now. That's in August 15th in Brooklyn, New York. Going to be doing some House of Hades stuff, and then also we'll be doing some improv with some people that I know are incredibly talented, someone that I've done improv with for years and years, someone who I've done a little bit of improv with. I'm assembling a roster of New York all-star improvisers. I'm so stoked for that portion. And then we'll do Q&A at the end of the show as well. So if you want to get tickets to that, go to thenewsolympian.com/live. And I'm going to be announcing 2 new shows in the fall of this year. They're going to be towards the end of September. I'm announcing those on social media on the 15th of May. So if you want to make sure you see exactly where we're coming and when, head on over to @newsolympian on Instagram, and I will be making a post there. So check that out. But yes, if you are in the New York City area or you want an excuse to come to New York and you want to go to that show, get some tickets, please. I know it's not for a while, but I would love for those ticket sale numbers to be good so that the venue that booked with me will feel less confused about how I said, I think people are going to show up, and then not many people have bought tickets yet. So let's make me look more respectable. Head on over to thenewsolympian.com/live for tickets. Now, I have mentioned the Patreon a couple of times here in the mid-roll break, so let's give a shout out to the folks who have joined the Patreon most recently. Shout out to our newest God tier patrons, Ellie Kayola and Ariel, and shout out to our newest demigod tier patron, Anna Booma. Now, that was a German last name. I looked up how to do it because I've always been confused with the umlaut. So, Anna, if I messed that up, I am so sorry. Please send me a DM on Patreon. If I ever mispronounce your name in the shout out section, anybody, DM me on Patreon, and then I'll do a correction. Now, for all caught up in the News Olympian and you're looking for some new content to consume, you're in luck because I do a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm going to do something a little different, inspired by the improv here. If you've ever wanted to see me do a little bit more improv in a pretty nicely recorded set, especially after mentioning the improv that I did with Nathan Cox, if you search for A Tribe Called Yes opening night on YouTube, you can see me and Nathan and some other incredibly talented Seattle improvisers at the opening night show for our improvised hip-hop musical improv comedy performance called A Tribe Called Yes, where we would always do an improvised story about the rise and fall of a rap group. I was one of the main rappers in the opening night performance. There's a really solid rap battle performance that I'm still very proud of, and if I'm ever feeling down, I sometimes watch this to be like, no, you do have worth and value. Mike Schubert, look at you go. You can find that on YouTube. It's in 2 parts. It's pretty good. It's like 2 45-minute acts or so. I think you'll enjoy it. Check it out. It's on YouTube. It's also on my personal website, schub.es. If you go to the other or the and more or the whatever the miscellaneous category is called on my website, there's a link to it there. Check it out. It's fun. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon, where you get access to ad-free episodes, you're going to hear words from a few sponsors who make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of those ads will be read by me, and others of them won't be. The ones that aren't read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in Sao Tome and Principe, which is in Central Africa, my apologies here. I am unfamiliar with this. Geography boy, I am not. Don't be surprised if you hear an ad in Portuguese, which is apparently the official language. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back into this episode of the News Olympian.
We were sent in many questions. Let's try to get to as many of them as we can before we get politely told to leave the premises. This one is from Christy and Kyla. Hi, Mike. Christy, listener since 2017. Whoa, early days. And Kyla, a brand new listener. Late days. Do you have any merchandise ideas at this point in the books that you think should be made? Like Letterman golden fleece jackets, TM, Disney, please hire Mike to consult. We're thinking Phlegathon water, spicy yet disgusting. Oh my goodness gracious. You've also made a PowerPoint slide to catch a new listener up to speed. That's a 27-page PowerPoint slide.
Oh my gosh, that's a good picture. That's
wow.
like a really good picture of you.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, this is great. I'll be saving this for the future. Merchandise. I'm going to star it in my Gmail so that I don't forget this cool PowerPoint slide. New merchandise ideas, and feel free to chime in if you've thought of any, but I was thinking there's all like the wacky ideas and stuff that would never actually happen, but like some of the more realistic ones, I don't know. I want to make, this could either be a hat or because I haven't really done like a hat before, or if this would sell well enough, aprons, but like a Gia's Italian Kitchen thing, either as a hat or an apron, I think could be really fun.
You could do like,
and be like the best pizza in the land. Something like, write that down.
A like baseball cap style hat, that has like the New York Yankees font that says "My other cap turns me invisible."
Nice. I was also thinking of doing that with like TNO on a hat, but then the N is an NY. But I do fear being sued by the New York Yankees. So
That would probably be good to avoid.
I would love it because then they couldn't even go to the games. Okay, this one is from Mal, Denver Creepy Airport Horse #1 fan. I've still never seen it. I know it exists, but I've never flown into the right terminals. How? I don't know. I went from Gate C to the plane train thing, to baggage claim, to the train.
To be fair, the airport is currently slightly less creepy.
Okay, because of all the added construction?
They did get rid of an extremely unhinged mural.
An unhinged mural
that was showing, it was supposed to be like about the hope being carried on with like the children of the world or something.
Okay.
But then like proceeded to like portray the worst people in humanity oppressing those children.
Okay, I'm glad that mural's gone.
That's not there anymore, but we do still have Lucifer.
Yes, I think that's what the titles are to do. Still have not seen it. One day.
He will activate as a kaiju to protect Denver.
No,
at some
I did
point.
see this the last time I was here. I think I did see Lucifer because Nathan and I took different flights and then we were going to take the train together and we were trying to find a meeting point. I was like, I know where you can find me.
Lucifer did commit murder.
Ah, okay, good.
That's not a joke. He a part of him fell on his creator.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact: his eyes glow red because the creator's father made like neon signs, and he wanted to pay homage to his father by and like a lot of his sculptures he made have like these LED neon light eyes, but they're all red. So I don't think it gives off the like comforting
it could be in taxidermy house. It'll be nice and safe. So here's Mal's question. My friend loves Grover, and their hottest take is that he should have taken Coach Hedges' spot in the series. Any predictions on how Grover would get along with the rest of the gang? I think him and Percy would be pretty good friends.
I think that's a safe guess.
Yeah. I think, as far as like the new people, I could see Grover not vibing with Jason because he's like, there can only be one Percy.
Frank and him would get along really well.
They'd be super tight.
I think he would have similar feelings towards Leo as Frank.
Oh, I don't think he would get along with Leo as much.
That's what I'm saying, though.
As Frank does. Yeah. I agree.
I think he would be kind of put off by him. But it's not that I think Grover should take his place entirely, because I do enjoy Coach Hedge.
I love Hedge.
But I think it would have been better if he did take his place, or if he was included. Again, if there's an HOO TV series, I think he should just be on the Argo too the entire time, personally. I just want to see Arian Samhadri have just as big of a role as he is currently having in the PGO series.
We'll see. I hope it gets made. So this one is from Kaylin. If you could cast 9 characters of Percy Jackson to replace the 9 members of the Fellowship of the Ring, who would you pick? I've been listening for 6 years. Thanks for the memories. Okay. Frodo and Sam have to be Percy and Grover, yeah?
Yeah.
And then the Stoll brothers are Merry and Pippin, yeah?
Yeah. Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. So Annabeth as Aragorn.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
3 different options in my head for Boromir.
Okay.
And I think you're only going to like the last one.
I've got an answer.
Luke?
No.
Selena?
No.
Clarice?
No. Lee Fletcher, because he dies really soon after we meet him.
But that's not the point of Boromir's arc.
But I didn't pay attention well enough to know it's why. He's like the scorned younger brother, or is that the different?
Kelly's gonna have to make you have an extended edition marathon next weekend.
I gotta get more. I gotta learn more. Anyone else?
Who's Gandalf? Chiron.
Chiron.
Why did I even ask that question?
Perfect. Nailed it. Perfect answer. Perfect answer.
Wait, no, hold on. And then we need Legolas and Gimli.
Who's the best at skateboarding?
Well, Coach Hedge is Gimli. At least he's movie Gimli.
No, Coach Hedge's Gimli is really good. I like that.
So who does Coach Hedge have like the biggest bromance with, who's a beautiful person?
Who does Coach Hedge really get along with?
Who would he get along with? Who's a beautiful person?
I think he'd get along with Clarice. The Rage would be cool, but I don't see Clarice as being Legolas.
Okay, I see TV show Clarice being Legolas because Eeyore is the most gorgeous human being ever.
I could see it.
But Clarice could be gorgeous. I've never seen her, but
is there? Is there official? I don't know if there's official.
She's not described as having elf-like features.
Okay, so this one is from Abby.
Wait,
sorry. Yes. Legolas?
Selena is Legolas. Just ignore her character arc in Percy Jackson. Clarice is Gimli.
Oh, very fun. I like it. All right, so Abby says, in the subject line, Rocky's Dinger is the best dino. So we did have that confirmed. We drove by the Rockies thing earlier and it was like, Taylor's asking, is the Rockies mascot a dinosaur? And I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. I support a team that plays in the American League. And you guys haven't made the playoffs in ever. So I don't know that you... And also, like the mountain logo, certainly a dinosaur is the mascot. Yeah.
As
What do you mean, yeah?
We have dinosaurs.
Triceratops is our state dinosaur.
Okay, I didn't know that, but my favorite dinosaur is a Triceratops, so I'm really happy to learn that. Yeah!
You all should go on. Everyone in this section who loves Triceratops and go to Melbourne. They got the world's largest and most complete Triceratops skeleton. It is 97% complete.
And you see it. My favorite stuffed animal from being a child is a baby Triceratops named 26 from the Dinotopia miniseries and
Very
books.
fun.
That was really fun to explain when I was a child, saying, this is my favorite stuffed animal. She is a Triceratops named 26. She doesn't look like a Triceratops.
Amazing. So Abby's question, like Nico jump scaring everyone with random answers, where would you want to randomly pop up in with a vital piece of corrected information, either in reality or the Percy Jackson universe? Glad you came to Denver. So got to pop in with a random vital piece of information. Where do you want to do it?
The U.S. House of Representatives.
Ooh, very good. I like that a lot. I think that's very good. I don't know that I can top that answer. I think that is the correct answer. Okay, let me do. We are at time, so I got to just do like a couple of more. Okay, Emily says that she drove 2 hours to come here. Hi, Mike, longtime listener, first time coming to a live show. I've recently started playing Baldur's Gate 3. That's all I can think about. What class do you think each of the 7 heroes would be? I believe that we've done this on previous ones, but do you have any strong casting the heroes as a certain D&D class?
Okay, class.
I don't know that we have time to do everybody. Is there one where you're like, gosh, this is the one I feel very passionately about?
Gosh, Annabeth, definitely like a knowledge-based one, probably like wizard.
Okay.
Percy, fighter or paladin, but I like to incorporate his water powers, so like Circle of the Coast Druid or whatever the equivalent is in 5e 2024. Grover Druid.
Sure.
100%. Like,
yeah.
This is kind of easy, but he's not in the 7. Piper, I could see as a warlock.
Sure.
Or a bard because of like
the bard for sure. With the charm
like,
suit.
There's so many bard things like, the insult spell that I can't remember.
Oh,
right now.
Vicious Mockery.
Vicious Mockery.
No, that's good. I like it a lot.
So that one, Jason, Paladin.
Yeah.
Leo, Artificer.
Okay, that makes sense. Tinkery. Yeah.
Frank, he has some levels in Druid for Wild Shape. I mean, Ranger for like the archery and stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth on that. That could fit with the Wild Shape.
I think it's good. I like it.
I don't
now.
know. I'm torn on it. I'm not convinced, but
okay,
that's what I'm saying.
You can ruminate on it until the next Denver
I'll
live
think
show.
about it for the next 5 months.
500 days. All right, so we're going to close out with this fun question from, is it Holland? Okay, sweet. Holland says, my name is Holland, and I'm so happy that you came back to Colorado. I love the podcast, as it has helped me get back into Percy Jackson. In my opinion, our state flag is really cool and unique. I agree. It's very cool and unique. My question is, if you could design a flag for the Argo crew, what would the flag look like? It's a very fun question.
It has to have Festus's head on it, right?
Yeah, I like the Festus head is good. I think that should be like the key, whether it's in the center or at least like the most prominent figure on it. I like that a lot.
But like, if we're going off of like United States state flags, like,
which are either cool or unhinged,
there's like
depending on the
there's
state.
There's a great YouTube video of someone ranking all of them and grading them. Most of them like are bad.
Most are very bad.
If we were to
I think we got to go into Colorado where it's like a simplistic design. Because when they get all...
Well, those are the best ones.
Correct.
But if we wanted to make it like accurate to how most U.S. state flags are, we need to add writing. Because flags shouldn't have writing, but most of them do.
But I don't want to make the flag bad, though. I want a good flag for our friends.
So to make it like a good flag that's also considered bad, you put a giant 7 on it behind because writing ruins flags, but like most of the United States state flags have writing. So you put a big 7 Like the Colorado flag is great, but it has a C, which
Yeah.
is technically
big-
writing, as a CO, which is technically writing. So it looks good, but that subtracts some points. So to make it look good, but subtract those points to make it
Yeah.
Congruent with current flags.
Here's what I'm thinking. I think we've got the big 7 in the background. I like
Yeah.
it. I'm imagining it in red. Feels like a correct color. We've got like Festus head in front of it, maybe like a side profile, like with some action of like blaring out, the directions. And then halfway like bisecting the flag, since the Argo 2 can both fly up in the sky and go on water, the top half is like swirly, circular, like wind whipping clouds.
Like
and
Avatar Last Airbender, like air.
Yeah,
versus
definitely
water
seen that
symbol.
show before. It's the next
Mike.
podcast. It's the next podcast. I have to avoid it in case I run out of Percy Jackson things.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna need the money. So
You can start another podcast.
I
You
can't.
have the time. You have all the time
So
in the
much
world.
time. So yeah, like moving air, like wind whipping stuff in the top, and then at the bottom, like crashing,
Waves,
cascading
yeah, like
waves.
The classic,
so
like wave
yeah,
art
like,
that you do.
maybe even the ones in like that cool like Japanese painting where it's got like the thing going. So yeah, we've got like waves at the bottom, clouds at the top, a big 7 going like diagonally across it, and then a big Festus head. And I think we've got a cool flag.
Consider Festus, entire Festus in memoriam for our dear friend, in the shape of a 7.
Oh, that's better. That is
Entire
better.
Festus dragon in the shape of 7.
The subtle 7 of Festus, and then it's paying homage to
we
him.
did it.
Yeah, I think we've nailed
we
it.
designed, like,
we
the
designed
best
perfect
flag.
and we had the perfect show. Thank you all so much for coming out and making the show a reality. Give it up to Morgan for being an incredible guest. Give it up to all of our improvisers for Camp Laugh Blood for absolutely rocking it. It was so much fun. Give it up to Mimi once again for telling such a fun story.
That was a crazy story.
Wild story. I'm glad you survived. Give it up to everyone here at the Marquee, from Nick on sound to everyone else running like front of house and security and organizing the emails. Like, everyone was so awesome. So fantastic. And of course, give it up to Kelly and my parents for holding down the fort, watching the baby so that I could do this entire tour. This is the final stop. So great. And of course, give it up to Lisa for running the merch table, which you can visit on your way out. But that is our show. This has been such a delight. I love doing shows in Denver. I love visiting Denver. Everyone here is so nice. Everything is great. Everything was fun. I've had a lovely time. You guys were such a fun crowd. This is such a perfect way to end the tour. I'm happy beyond belief, and I will ride this joy until the next time I come to Denver. But until then, I'll see you later. Thanks so much for coming out, everybody.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of The News Olympian. This podcast is created, hosted, and produced by me, Mike Schubert. I also run the social media and the website. Our editor is Sherry Guo. The music is by Bettina Campomanes and Brandon Krugel, and the art is by Jessica E. Boyd. If you can't get enough of the show, you can go to thenewsolympian.com/Patreon for bonus episodes, bonus content, ad-free episodes, a whole bunch of fun stuff. If you want to interact with the community around the show, you can check out the Discord, which is available to all patrons, or we're on social media. We're at News Olympian on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Twitter. And we've got a subreddit, reddit.com/r/thenewestolympian. You can also show your love for TNO by getting TNO merch at thenewsolympian.com/merch. Of course, want to give a huge shout out to our producer level patrons: Kelsey Gillespie, Vicky Garcia, Frida Vikstrom, Megan Moon, Polly Burge, Nikki Harris, Tatiana Schmidt, Sandra Rose, Josh Sayer, Sam Ruby, Mrs. O'Leary, Milo Kim, Sandkopf, Rayla Matthews, Sky Mallory, Mick Walters, Grace, Ginger Spursboy, Bradimus Prime, Skylar Sisters, Scott Sheldon, Ann M. Thayer Cohen, Bella, Percy Jackson, Kit Kat Crumbs, Jim Jam Koopy, Andrea, not Andrea, Jordan Ray, Nico's Black, Vespa, Zayden Wintergate, Terry Rothfuzz, Certified Ghost King's emotional support friend, Lee Hartley, Persasabeth, and Alex DeLong. If you want to support the show in a non-monetary way, word of mouth is essential for podcast growth. You can tell a friend directly, say, hey, there's this Percy Jackson podcast I think you would like, check it out. You could leave a rating and review on whatever podcasting app you're using, or you could just talk about the show on social media. All these things really do help. I really appreciate anyone who has done so in the past, and I appreciate anyone who will do so in the future. But I'm just so thankful that you tuned into this episode, and hope you tuned into our next episode, where we'll be joined by Ashley Latimer, live in Atlanta, Georgia, to break down chapters 35 and 36 of the House of Hades. But until then, I'll see you later. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, ASMR Mike. So here in the auxiliary studio, which is just me and Kelly's closet, I have a section of the closet which includes my softball stuff. It's softball season right now. Me and Adam Onwalla, who you might know from Horse, have a game tomorrow in Central Park in the afternoon. Very excited about it. And I've got some things here nearby that can make noise. So here's some sunscreen that I like to put on to make sure I don't get burned, since our games are in the middle of the day. Here's a hat that I wear. It's a snapback hat. I'm going to unsnap and resnap. Ooh. Those are hefty snaps. It's a hat. The design on it is Pablo Sanchez from Backyard Baseball. And then here is anything else that's going to make noise? Yeah, here are my pants, and it's got like those buttons on top of baseball pants. I don't know the types of buttons, but they all, this little shaky noise is just something that's always been in my life since I've played baseball starting at 5. Just, always having those kind of pants in my life and that kind of noise, like, yes, baseball pants, baseball buttons, baseball pants buttons. Anyway, thank you so much for listening.